but luckily sunny day, Casa Chiesi is going to take you to Crespi D'Adda.
Industrial village.
It is very famous among the Italian architectural student because in 1995 entered the World Heritage Site list of the UNESCO.
CrespiD'Adda represents one of the best preserved workers' village in the world. The Crespi family, and in particular Silvio Crespi, wanted to realize the ideal environment for the people working in their cotton factory, which was based on an English model. The whole village structure was meant to symbolize the perfect body of a society where the manufacturing owner was sharing his knowledge and his wellness with the less fortunate laborers who could then lead a decent life surrounded by a pleasant setting.
At the end of 1900, the Crespis bought a big area close to the river Adda to set their factory, their cotton factory. You can see in the back here their private house that was like a castle, a real castle that was built in the style of New Gothic, as to symbolize the role of the master, that in this case was an unlighted master, that for the workers was the provider and the protector.
Now we are in the center of the village. The vision of these modern entrepreneurs was to design their workers' lives, shaping their existence and providing for everything they needed to live. The initial workers' compounds consisted of the 4 buildings that you see behind us, but soon the factory grew to the point that 4,000 workers were employed and other units became necessary. Quite a number of new duplex units were built. Here we see some examples. Each of them had their own vegetable patch and livestock cages. The purpose was to maintain the workers' bonding with nature. And this is a washing station where women would come and wash their clothes as to avoid having to go all the way down to the Adda River. But we are still talking about a society in which social differences had to be underlined. The higher level employees and the manager houses had their own section in a separate area of the village. These bigger properties were built later in the 20s and 30s and perfectly represent the higher status of their inhabitants.
Here is the heart and the purpose of this urbanistic project, the entrance of the manufactory, which, by the way, remained in activity until 2003. As you can see, there is a large use of brick. And the reason why they use the bricks all over the place is because it imitates the traditional style of the architecture in Lombardy. The Crespi family, which is still considered in Milan one of the most influential family, we have to remember that was also the founder of the city newspaper, the most famous one, Il Corriere della Sera.
As we mentioned in the intro, the workers' life was carefully organized beyond their working hours. We can call this a success if we consider the fact that during the 50 years of their governance, not one strike or riot occurred.
And right in the center of the city, 2 very important structures. The school, which provided free education and supplies for all the kids whose parents were working in the factory. And the church, of course, that is a smaller replica of a 1500 church in Busto Arsizio, hometown of the Crespi family.
And even the free time was organized by the presence of a theater, which we can find right behind us. Nice.
And in the structure behind us, they even had the swimming pool with hot water for the workers to swim.
Very nice.
And at the end of this long walk, the graveyard.
The Crespi family wanted to celebrate the power and tradition by building this cemetery as the last boundary of their workers' existence. In order to glorify their role, a massive family mausoleum was built in an eclectic style which reminds the silent and assertive masses of the pre-Columbian pyramids.
It's almost sunset and our tour in Villaggio Crespi is over, but before leaving you, I wanted to show you the position of the 2 institutions of this place. The priest house and the doctor house. They were placed on top of the village so that one was overlooking the spiritual life of the people in the village, and the other one was taking care of the body situation of them. So that's it. Bye bye. Hope you enjoyed it.